The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
We all agree tonight, all of the speakers have agreed that America has a very serious problem. Not only does America have a very serious problem, but our people have a very serious problem. America's problem is...
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Black Solutions Live. My first time at Morris Media Studios. If you guys have been following me for the last 2 years, I've done my show during audio, but this is the first time I'm doing this live. And I'd like to welcome the audience. I have two regular cast of characters here. I have to my left, or is this my left? Yeah, it's my left. I didn't play basketball. To my left, I have Miss Shari Cohen, and right next to her is Mr. Gerald G. Bennett. If you've seen them before, it's because they have an excellent show called Say It Loud. What's up, Shari? What's up, G?
Hey, Calvin, glad to have us.
Yeah, I know we sit in the same chairs, just different shows. We got my man LaRon back there on the engineer part. Shout out to you, young brother. Mm-hmm. Good things, good things. So, G and Shari, what we're going to talk about today, I got three powerful subjects that people actually been running away from me talking about these subjects. Subject number one is Roe versus Wade, the Supreme Court decision. Unless you've been living in a cave, America, I'm sure you've heard about this. The second subject is black men and black women. And the third subject is gangbanger laws, what I believe will be forthcoming. So we're going to jump right into this, you guys. So Roe versus Wade, Supreme Court decision. The Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade after 50 years. And if you guys don't know this, it's the woman's right to choose the abortion law. The Republicans been fighting against this for decades, and they finally got this through the Supreme Court. What baffles me about this, ladies and gentlemen, and I want to hear G and Shari's view on this, it's funny how white Republicans who talk about they're on the religious side of doing things don't take care of the kids that are here. We talking about they want fund programs now for daycare, schools, healthcare, recreation programs. So you're going to create, you're going to take away the woman's right to choose, the abortion law, and it's just unbelievable. Now I'm going to run down a few things of what the cause and effect of this. What this law is going to do to us. We're going to have unwanted kids. We're going to have a rise in child support cases. Kids are not going to stop having sex. It's going to be a rise in baby daddies, baby mamas. So this is going to really affect our community. So I'm going to go to you, Shari. You're a female. How do you feel about this law?
Well, I'm against abortions myself.
Okay.
I've always been against them myself because I feel you should protect yourself, whether it's him protecting himself or the female protecting herself. If they sit there and say, oh, well, they have a pill that they can give the female, abortion pill, they have a birth control pill. Mm-hmm. I always said the only exception that I would make if the female wanted to have an abortion was if she was raped or something like that. It just, but just to keep having them and having them and having them, yeah, I do think it should be where it is the female's choice, but it should be in the system. Like if they have 1, 2, 3, 4, what is the reason? That's murder to me. It's a lot of females that's out there that want kids that cannot have kids. Mm-hmm. So I would make them go ahead and have the kids and then just give them up for adoption or, for someone that's waiting to adopt kids. But just to say no to the female, take it completely away, you cannot have an abortion. No, I don't believe in that, but they shouldn't be able to have like all of these abortions because they're careless with birth control. That's how I feel.
That's a very good point. So what you're saying is people are using abortion as a contraceptive.
Right.
And that's wrong. So I agree with you there. G, I know you got some views on this.
I'm going to piggyback off of what Sherry said. I find what she said at her point is very valid, and you have to look at the narrative from the beginning to the end. Where does children come from? Where are they conceived? And that's a spiritual thing that I have, where Jehovah God gives the gift of life to the woman. Now, she has no right to kill or abort a child because that wasn't given to you to do that. That's a gift. A child is a gift. And the Bible says you shouldn't have sex until you get married. So that's one of the rules. So why are you out here having sex with men? Like some women, they prostitute their bodies out, and you never know what happened, and they get pregnant. Then they figure, well, I don't know who the child's father is, so I want to abort the kid. But not only you doing, is actually murder, but you're doing damage to your body to the point to where you may or may not be able to conceive another child, because that's a gift from your Heavenly Father. So to me, it's murder, and I don't believe in abortions. I don't believe in a woman's right to choose. If you're going to choose the mate and marry him and then have a child. Do it the right way. Because if you do it the wrong way, then wrong is going to come out of that. So your decision on having an abortion is you're actually committing murder, and that's really, to me, against the spiritual law.
Hey, I have to agree with you there because, as you know, we come from a strong spiritual background. And I agree with what both of you guys said. The thing that concerns me the most as far as the black community with this is that we got kids running around that's crazy wild now.
Right.
Could you imagine the girls that's twerking on with the phones everywhere, and the guys are sagging to the point where they just might as well take their pants off because you can see the underwear and their drawers where they go. People walking down the street with their pajamas on. So I'm concerned to where if these people are forced to have children, what is that going to look like in 10, 15 years? Because we can't control the kids that's out here now. So I'm really kind of concerned about that, even though I'm not a female, but I could just see this really going the other way, bad way for black people. You know,
There's going to be a lot of, I think, kids on drugs.
right?
Babies on drugs, rather, small kids. Things are just going to happen bad. It's just going to be really bad. You already have a lot of kids that doesn't have good upbringing because of who their parents are or their background. So it's going from bad to worse.
G?
I share a different view. When you and I were growing up, some of us had more mothers in the household than fathers. And what I see nowadays with the younger generation, the generation that we have nowadays, are they're becoming better fathers and mothers. Even though they may or may not have the traditional way of raising the children, they are in their child's life. I see more young men out here like, man, I got to go get my son. I got to go get my seed. Or I got to go do this. They're trying to fight to be with their children or their loved ones. Back when I was growing up, all of us, well, the majority of us had the story where we didn't even know our fathers. We knew of a stepfather that was raggedy as a roach, or we didn't have a father at all. But some of these fathers I see out here, these young men, be it in the gang or be it drug dealers or even the ones in college or playing professional sports, they do try to play a more pivotal role in their child's life. So you have more fathers and mothers nowadays than we did back in the day.
I agree. So, let me ask you guys now, G, you big on conspiracy. Why is this so important to the United States government? Because they really don't care. So it's got to be an end game there. What are they going to get out of it? I heard one person said that they're running out of workers. So they want to create, they know if they do this, it's going to create it's going to add to the lower classes or more poverty, going to keep more people in poverty. Because do you guys see people abstaining from sex from this? Like, you think girls going to stop, or guys, we're going to stop having sex because they can't do abortions anymore?
No.
You guys don't think that's going to happen?
No,
Huh?
of course not.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. What happened was back in the day, we had a president, Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Eleanor Roosevelt, and they created the welfare system. And that was because it wasn't just black communities, but it was women that were having children that were tossing their children in the trash can, or they were trying to get rid of their kids. They were leaving them on doorsteps more way back then than now. And so the Roosevelts came up with the welfare plan. And it wasn't just, this is just for black people. It was for all women who needed a way out, and they were helping out more then than now. Nowadays, I don't know what the supplement is or how they do the income factor when the woman has a child. I remember back in the day, you would receive financial compensation on either the 1st or the 15th. And some women took advantage of that. One woman even wrote a book on being a welfare queen, where she defrauded the system through the welfare structure. But I say this, it's not a conspiracy. You have to realize way back when Pharaoh said, kill the firstborn of the children of Israel, because he didn't want them to rise up as mighty warriors. So in the black community, you have abortion clinics, you have, you need to use contraceptives, or they don't like black children or black babies. And when I say they, I mean the government that we have in place, which is the raggediest government that we have. Not trying to speak against them, but it is what it is. Right. Black men and women have been able to make something out of nothing, make lemonade out of lemons. So they've been given little, but they've achieved a lot. And America, which did not include them in none of this. We weren't included in the corporate structure, because America is not a country, it's a corporation.
Exactly.
And we were never included in the corporation process of this unit, of this of the structure that was built by our forefathers. We were here to build this, but we wasn't included in being able to partake of what's going on out here right now. This is a corporation. And if you're a black man or woman, the 3 biggest scams ever in this corporate-based society is working, is a job, paying taxes. These are all scams. If you have a regular job, that's a scam. If you pay taxes, that's a scam. And the third one is to vote. Those are it's 4 of them. And going to church and giving your money to a fake preacher. Those are the 4 biggest scams that's plagued the black community, which have kept us down on the ground and kept us on our knees. You have to do away with all 4. And I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow, but what do you think about the rappers who didn't go to college, and yet they're worth $1.5 billion or $5 billion all together collectively? Look how much money that they're worth, and some of them even dropped out of high school, but they're richer than any professor or anyone in the corporate structure, all because they wrote some rhymes on a piece of paper and was able to deliver it in a way to allow people to buy into what they was believing. So you have to look at, there's good and there's bad. You have to be able to flagellate and put it all in its right perspective.
Very well said. Did you practice that answer, man? That's pretty doggone good.
Yeah.
Hey, Sherry, you was in the mirror about 30 minutes working on that. You guys, I gotta stay on a conspiracy thing. Okay, so I looked at this. Right-wing politics. Matter of fact, I'm not a Democrat either, so I don't like them either. But right-wing Republican politics. What does it mean to be conservative? You guys ever thought about that? I looked up the definition to conserve. To conserve is to save, protect, preserve, old ways. So if you're a conservative nowadays, what are you trying to preserve? Us as black people, we come from slavery.
Right.
We come from economic hardship. We come from Jim Crow and getting whooped and stuff. So when you say you're conservative and you don't want to change and this and that, and you want to keep the things the way they were, exactly what is conservative? What is that? What is that? To me, it sounds like it's the same old song, and he putting cute words on it. But this is the conservative right-wing Republicans pushing this through. So we all have our own views on this, but I just see this, you guys being very tragic to the black community. We won't see the fallout to this. We'll probably be another 10 years, 15 years, when all these kids are going around and, You got people having 6, 7, 8, 9 baby mothers, and I'm just really worried about how this all going to play out. So.
Well, growing up, when we grew up, how many kids did Big Mama have?
Oh, man.
18, 19,
Exactly.
20, 21. So
7, 8, 9.
there was no reason to stop and say, well, go get this done or go get that done. They wasn't thinking about getting rid of their children. They had their kids with or without a father. But now you have it today to where women are one and done, especially black women. Women are not going to allow themselves to be, I guess, taken advantage of by a man who's given them a child, inseminated them, given them a child, and is going on about his life. And they are stuck with the remembrance and looking at this kid and seeing that this is the man that left me with you and I have hatred for him. Now I'm going to develop hatred for you. So women are not going to allow that man to torture them in that capacity anymore, especially black women. And women do that more than not. So you have a lot of women out here that can have kids, and they would love to raise a child in a loving household. But then you have black women that say, I don't want the kid, but then I don't want to give the kid away. So it's a double-edged sword. So I look at it like, as far as the government's role to play in it, the government don't care nothing about black men and women and what they do and how they do it and how much sex they have and how many kids they have. They just don't want it coming over into their communities. That's where they draw the fine line, and that's where they say we need to cut the numbers down, because there's a certain amount of numbers in the black race that they try to maintain. There's a certain amount of numbers in the Spanish race. There's a certain amount of numbers in the Japanese race and the Chinese race, and so on and so forth. Once that number goes above that, now they start saying, well, we need to figure out a way to get that number back down for some sort of reason. Mm-hmm. They do have numbers, and they keep those numbers in a certain perspective to where those numbers don't go all the way up, because then you become a dominant race. And they do not want the black race to be dominant in numbers. They don't mind if you dominate in entertainment, clothing, food, and all the other media entertainment. They're okay with that. But the numbers is what they try to keep down. So the plan for them to put abortion clinics in place, and they put it in a woman's ideal. Oh, you don't need to have no child. Come get an abortion. We'll do this. We'll do that. And then they go in and they call themselves giving you an abortion. Some of these people are not even professional in the capacity to even touch your body in such a way. So they might leave parts of you in there, parts of the child in there. So what happens to the child that they left the parts in there? What happens, I forgot the medical terminology, but it turns into a fecal, it's like a matter to where it turns into like a ball, clay ball or whatever, and it turns into, what is that called when they say they have to have that removed?
A hernia?
No. What? It's like it's like where women
a mesh?
They have extra weight on them, and they say, well, we have to go get that out.
I can't think of it. Sherry, you know what it is? That's surgery, gastric.
No,
surgery?
What is that where you have something that a woman has it on her body, and they say, oh, she got to go get that removed? It's like
a hysterectomy.
No. I can't think of the name of it. Anyway, not trying to get lost on the subject, but it's gonna pop in my mind. But it's something to where, what is that? Where it gets stuck in their fallopian tube and it swells up, and some it comes out as a tennis ball, and some could be as large
tumor?
as there you go. That's part.
We're gonna get to it sooner or later.
Yeah. So it's a tumor, but it's another name for the tumor. But anyway, a woman gets it, and they have to do surgery to get that removed. Well, that's part of where they didn't remove the whole child, because when you pull parts of the body, you might just pull a head out. Mm-hmm. Of course, because their job is just to make sure the child is dead. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? That's why some women have stillbirth.
You're talking about C-section?
No, not a C-section. It's like Calvin said, it's like a tumor where it grows.
Did mostly black women get it? It's on the tip of my tongue.
It grows inside their body. And sometimes it's the size of a little egg. Then sometimes it's a golf ball. Then sometimes it's a cantaloupe. Then sometimes it's a watermelon. But it has to be, that's part of the baby that they didn't remove. But that child still keeps growing because it's still connected to the tube. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. I appreciate your very.
It's a tumor, but you know what it is.
I know what it is. It's something.
But it grows, but it doesn't grow into a baby form. It grows into like like a real.
You ain't talking about an embryo, are you?
No. It'll come to me.
Is it a condition that women get?
Yeah, they
What's
get
the
it.
name of
Thyroid.
that? I couldn't say it.
Thyroid.
No, a thyroid.
Fibroids.
Fibroids?
There we go.
Fibroids.
There we go.
I couldn't.
You know it, girl.
I couldn't get it.
You was
It was back
Let me
here.
put a hand
Cherry was
print right
back here,
there.
but it should have went up there.
Let me
And
put a
look,
hand
I'm
print.
sitting
I'm
quiet.
getting
There we
right
go.
to it.
Now hold on.
Fibroids.
But guess what? A lot of people have never heard of that before.
That's,
You understand what I'm saying?
That's real common
They
among
don't be-
black women.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but you were saying pregnancy inside the tubes and
Well,
different
that's
things
what
was
it is.
happening,
When they
so
don't take all of it out,
you
it
had
continues
lost
to
me.
grow.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? Because it's
Yeah.
still connected. So the baby, the heads and the parts of the body is still not, but it's still growing. And it grows and develop big. And it'd be on their back, it'd be on their side, it'd be on their hip. And the doctor will never share the contents of this. They'll never let them know, well, this came from this or this came from that.
So, you guys, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to leave this and go to our next subject. Sherry, let me ask you, are you in fear that we'll go back to like the 50s, the 40s, and the 60s when women would try to self-abort? They would fall down the steps and, get a hanger. Do you think we'll ever get to that point again?
Yeah, I do think that. If you just telling them no, they're not going to go the whole 9 months to deliver a baby and all that. They'll do what they can to get rid of this baby.
Yeah, and that could be very dangerous.
Yeah, it can.
G, you got a comment on that before we move on?
Well, some women have even had the child, took the child out, tossed the child in the trash can, and went back in the club and started partying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. It's to me, you have to understand that that's a precious life, and that wasn't given to you by none other than your heavenly Father. So you have to look at it like that. You can not only become barren, but you can also bring a curse upon yourself that you won't be able to remove. So.
Well said. Okay, so you guys, we're going to move on here. This next subject is going to get me in trouble. A lot of women, y'all going to be rolling your eyes at me.
Is that the Free R. Kelly movement?
No, we're going to, well, G, you want to talk about that real quick before we get into this?
Yeah, man. Let me just say, shout out to R. Kelly, man. I got a lot of love for R. Kelly, man. I hate to see what happened to them, but it's just a American modern day lynching when you could put a black man in jail for 30 years for some allegations that someone said that he did. Hearsay. And then here it is, Jimmy the Bull Gravano murdered 35 people. He did 3 years in the witness protection program after murdering 35 people, and he got out and the government gave him $4 million to start a construction company in Arizona.
How about that?
And then he became a ecstasy dealer where he was the kingpin pushing ecstasy pills. And he got more time doing that than he did for the 35 murders. Then you have Catholic priests that has molested over 400,000 to 500,000 boys and girls from the ages of 4 years old to 18 years, and not one of them has ever been charged with a crime. They only move them to another synagogue or move them to another priesthood, but they have never at one time been charged in the court of law for committing a crime of rape. Right. So I parallel Bill Cosby and R. Kelly situation because back in the day, Cal, when we were growing up, you had the Rat Pack, you had the Black Pack, which was Jim Brown and Jim Kelly and all them. And then you had the other pack, the Playboy Ensemble, which was Hugh Hefner, Don Adams, Johnny Carson, and Bill Cosby, and Flip Wilson. And they did a lot of things at the Playboy Mansion. Yep. But the only ones being charged is Bill Cosby. So he's being charged with unspeakable situations. But what about when Hefner had these young girls over there doing whatever with whomever, with all different celebrities, and yet they were able to switch and turn the narrative and put it all on Bill Cosby.
Yep.
So here it is, R. Kelly. If he was to have done all these unspeakable things that these girls said he done, how come none of these women or girls ended up pregnant by him? That's one issue. And how come one girl left, went to Minnesota, had a baby by a guy, didn't like him because he was broke, left him and the baby, and came back to R. Kelly? And
so
why?
What is your issue again? So are you saying that R. Kelly shouldn't have did 30 years because these other people didn't do as much time? Or are you saying R. Kelly shouldn't be charged with sleeping with young females because Hugh Hefner wasn't charged?
I'm saying
you have me lost with it.
I'm saying R. Kelly is innocent of any of the charges because, first of all, where the parents at, one, in the issue. Two, how can you say, oh, he went out and done this or done that when the first trial he was found not guilty, and now all of a sudden when the money ran out or he's not paying people off and they can't charge him and extort him, now all of a sudden, oh, let's charge him. Let's put him under the federal RICO. He's under there for a RICO Act like he was running a criminal enterprise. That's the RICO Act, is when you run a criminal enterprise that's been lasting over years and years and years. What convicted R. Kelly was Surviving R. Kelly. They had came out with a documentary with all these women telling all these different stories about him, and he wasn't able to defend himself. So if you put out a documentary about somebody, it's going to be easy for a jury to come in and convict right after the documentary. He's innocent. Right. He's been innocent. And it was wrong for the government to go after him. Go after the murderers. Go after Sammy the Bull. Go after all those Catholic priests that's molested all those kids for all those years. What about them?
Well, gee, I'm going to tell you why. The answer is very simple. These people were white, were they not?
I was waiting for you to say
So if you're white, it's two different justice systems. You got the black justice system, you got the white justice system. What I don't like about R. Kelly is his ignorance. It's stupid. He was stupid. He knew this stuff was coming down the pipe. He wouldn't stop doing what he was doing.
Not
Is it fair?
He was
Is it
just
fair?
living
No.
life. He was just living life like everybody else that white did it.
I get it. But the young girl stuff, I can't co-sign on that part. But I agree with G. It's two sets of laws when you're black and you're white. And that's very clear. And Mr. Cosby, same thing. If you're black and you're in the public eye, you have to walk a straight line all the way. You can't move to this side. You can't move to that side. You can't say, I'm this big shot. You have to walk straight because they look what they did. Look what they did. Michael Jackson, same thing. Mike Tyson, they try to take Jordan down. I mean, I can go down the list of
And Mike Tyson was really innocent. That was crazy because a friend of ours was the roommate of the girl that charged. I'm not gonna say her name, but that's a personal friend of mine. She was in a room with this girl. This girl snuck out the room to go be with Mike Tyson. So why would you sneak out and break curfew to go be with a Mike Tyson and then come back and then a week later say, you know what, I think I was raped after you talked to your families and friends? Be like, girl, you didn't get nothing for that? Oh no, he just dropped me back off. Girl, say he raped you.
One thing about Mike Tyson don't lie.
Oh, he's very intelligent. I met Mike Tyson.
He'll tell the truth, even if it's going to hurt his career.
Yeah, he don't care.
He's going to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
So, but the R. Kelly thing, it's unfair with that, the sentencing. I'm with you on that. He's guilty of stupidity for far as
for being
get a man 5 years or something or 3 or whatever. Not 30. No, that's not
right. And then it's your inner circle, entertainers. Do this for me. If you're gonna have sex with a woman and it's not your wife and you're yet not married, put a consent form in place.
Exactly.
Put on that consent form everything you want to do, even if it's some fantasy stuff, whatever you think your whimsical mind can come up with. Make sure you have it documented and have a witness and allow her to read over it with her people and say, look, this is how I want to move. Are you with it or not? Sign it. If not, cool, and move on. But put a consent form in place.
Consent form or just pay them and just,
No.
Well, not really, because they were getting paid. But when the money stopped, that's when people started talking.
Right.
These parents knew what was going on.
Yeah,
they can't just say, well, he promised them a record deal or to be in his video or to do this and that. Everybody was getting paid, whether it was not them and just the daughters. But when the money stopped, they started talking. No, he's with my kid. You know where she was going.
12, 13, 14, 15.
Right.
Oh, go stay with him for a week. He'll be okay. I got a room for you
right
here.
Right.
Anyway, that's way out. So you guys, we're going to switch gears here. This next subject is going to be a doozy. You guys, it's approximately 41 million black people in the United States.
41 million.
Approximately.
And who confirmed that?
That's according to Google.
Oh, boy, get out of here.
Yeah, well,
I know you didn't say Google.
Well, the reason why I say Google, that's something you can look on your phone because, black people are not going to go, a lot of folks are not going to go to libraries and stuff. So let's go with the Google numbers.
So
that's something you can look in your phone and check.
I asked the calculation because we have more men and women in prison. We have more men and women sleeping out on the street. So how do we confirm, neither confirm or either confirm on that number?
Well, you know,
being a concise number.
To answer that question, those people literally don't count.
So
If you're not paying taxes, you're not doing anything positive in the community.
Okay.
You consider non-human.
Okay,
That's
cool.
not me talking. That's the United States government talking.
And so then we got to also factor in the homosexuality, the gay men and the gay women.
Yeah, we're gonna get to all that. It's
Okay,
on my list.
all right. Well, it's your show.
Okay, so I just want to you can have at it. I'm just gonna run it down really quick. Approximately 41 million black people in the United States, according to Google. Also, according to Google, there's approximately 19.9 black men in the United States of America. Also, according to Google, there are approximately 21.7 million black women. Black people are 13% of the population, which has been very consistent from slavery time to now. Those numbers have never gone up, they've never gone down. They stayed pretty consistent over the last 300 to 400 years. My question is this, you guys. I just said it was 41 million approximately black people in the United States. Only 4.7 million people are married. So that means that about 35 million people are single. Okay? So the question I ask, and I've done a private survey for this, 26 people I know really well, great jobs, educated, you know, good people, the people I really trust. I asked 26 people, 16 men, black men, 16, 13 black men, 13 black women. Why is that? Why do we have all these? We got 35 million single people. Do you guys want to know what they said?
What they say?
12 out of 13 black women blamed it all on black men. Okay? So 11 out of 13 black men all blame it on black women. Do y'all want to know what the black men said about black women, why they don't want to get married?
Sure.
Bad attitudes, talk too much, trying to compete with them, non-supportive, slavery, unfair court systems as far as divorce. Now, let's hear what the sisters had to say. No,
Well, we don't have to hear all that.
yes.
Let's skip over there.
let's hear what the black women had to say.
Exactly.
You know, they got a lot to say on this subject.
Let's just keep.
Black women said black men can't handle a strong black independent woman.
I agree.
Heard that a lot. Black men don't want to take responsibility. You talks about that a lot. Black men don't have enough money. Slavery again. Black men want to date multiple women. And G, to your point you mentioned earlier, black men in prison, which is approximately 900,000, which is 40% of the total prison population, according to a federal court study in 2019. Also, the rise in gay factor. This is what the women said. Now, you guys, that's a lot to unpack. Do one of you guys want to go make a comment on that? Because, you know, I got plenty to say
I don't
about
want
this.
him to comment because he's just being sarcastic and
Well, Sherry, you go ahead. Ladies first.
Really?
Now, Sherry, talk about
That's what friends are for.
That's what friends are for. We might have to do that at the end of the show. Y'all want to probably punch each other in the eye. Sherry, so would you agree with what the black women said? Black men can't handle a strong, independent black woman.
Please.
Black men don't want to take responsibility
Please.
for his kids and whatnot. Don't make enough money. Slavery. Black men want to date multiple women. Most black men in prison. The gay fact. Would you agree with all of that?
I agree with majority of it. Here today, I think that the black man wants to run a relationship or a marriage, but they're not the responsible one. Okay. They're not the ones keeping a job. I won't always say that the man has to make more money than the female, but they're not responsible. They're lazy here today. They want to sit back and have the woman work, but they want to control everything. And I don't agree with that. Yeah, I do agree with what the men are saying with the black females with attitude. Why do the black females have such attitude here today? Because the man want to take control, but he's not taking control of the responsibility. So why sign papers and marry these people? Just to say that you married? No. You have to see for what it's worth. And if the black man is not responsible, I'm not saying all females are responsible here today either. It could go either way. But what I see here today, that's why I think a lot of people just go ahead and be friends and just keep it in a relationship, take it day by day. And if marriage end up happening, it happened. But I don't think, it would be just like it used to be where our parents was together for years. They've been together 30 years, 40 years. It's not happening here today. You select a few, and you might run across, a couple of people, and they get married. And I'd be shocked here today when somebody, so-and-so's getting married. What?
Yeah, I never hear that either.
Yeah, it shocks me here today, but that's just my opinion.
I got it. So, G, we're going to dissect the black women, what they said first, and we'll talk about the black men. G, what are your thoughts about that?
First of all, no matter what a woman does, she's never supposed to take reign or headship or kingship over a man, period. I don't care how much money they make. Just because Oprah is worth so much doesn't make her superior than Stedman. A man is the head of the household. That's just the way it was created. Adam was created first, then Eve. So if you check your rib cage, you're short a rib. If you look at a woman's rib cage, she's up a rib. That's because it took the man to be placed asleep in order that the woman could be formed. And out of that, they're to become a unit. So you could get with a woman back in the days when they say they were together 30, 40, 50 years. A lot of them got together. They didn't have anything. They didn't have a bologna sandwich between the two. Some of them grew up to become entrepreneurs. Some of them built. A lot of them ended up with nice homes, households, and everything. That was way back when because the struggle was real back then. But nowadays, you have more women trying to figure out how to take what they can get out of a man before they have to give something back. So if a woman can play you out of everything that you have and take it and give it to the next man, she's going to do that. I always said women have three men. That first man, she'll do anything for. She could be married, laying in the bed next to her husband, and that guy calls, she's going to find a reason to leave her husband and make sure he's straight. That's the first guy. That's the man that they'll do anything for. The second guy is the man that'll do anything for them. He'll pay the bills. He'll come get them. He'll buy them this. He'll buy them that. Even though he knows that they're committed in a relationship, he still would give them his last because he likes her company and he just like her. That last guy, that third guy, he's just a utility guy. He's the phone call. He's the guy that go get his nails done with her. They go shopping together. He does all that with her that the first one is not going to do. And the second one is too busy to do because he's taking care of her needs.
Okay, so G, let's dissect this a little bit more. So what do you say about the sisters saying black men want to date multiple women? That's the reason why they don't want to get married. Would you say that's true?
Not true. Not true at all. A black man wants to date one woman. A black man is not a cheater by trait or nature. Black women, well, I'm not going to say black women, but most women cheat because they don't get what they feel they deserve or they don't get what they want from the guy that they're dealing with. So they start cheating. They'll go out and sleep with somebody for a phone bill, a car note, insurance, food, a nice dinner on the beach, a nice glass of wine. They do what they do, and it has nothing to do with the black man. That's just what women do, but they try to conceal it and hide it, thinking that they're doing something slick. But men don't cheat by nature. They don't cheat. If a man fall in love with you, he fall in love with the naturalness of your beauty. He falls in love with the fact of who you are and what you can be. You have to realize, in the hustle day, when men were drug dealers, taking care of these women, putting them through colleges and all that, men wasn't out there flipping and dipping and dabbing. They were making sure these women were okay. These women were living the life, and they didn't bring nothing one to the table, and they didn't have to get out there and really get down with the hustle game and none of that. Men was out there risking their lives, taking penitentiary chances, risking life and limb and death just to make sure they had what they wanted. Now, I will say this. when a man does get with a woman, he falls in love again with her naturalness. When you have a woman that's wearing fake eyelashes, fake hair, fake boobs, fake behind, everything about her is fake, and she takes all that off and put it in the chair, I'm going to want the woman that's sitting in the chair. I'm not going to even want that woman.
You want the mummy, huh?
Yeah, I want the woman that's sitting in the chair. You have to realize a lot of these women have abandoned their naturalness. Look at them. They made up. They look like all of them look like they're in a witness protection program. And then you got nerve to call somebody ugly? Take all that off, and then let's go back and forth.
Okay, so I'm going to let Shari, you have a response to that, or you going to stick with what you said earlier?
I'm going to stick with what I said. I'm not going to agree with him.
Okay, I got you. Now, G, one more question. They talked about a lot of the black men in prison. Like I said earlier, 900,000, 40% of prison population. Would you say that's a major factor in why black people are not getting married?
Well, the trust factor and culpability. See, you have to be culpable for your actions in life. And some women feel like they have been dealing with men for so long, and yet they feel like they should have had something set in place, like either an engagement or maybe a potential marriage arrangement. And so they say, look, I've given this man my best. It has nothing to do with nobody in prison. They're not even thinking about, okay, who's in jail? Let me factor that in. They're thinking about if a woman is giving a man all that she has to give him and she doesn't even have a promise ring or a potential marriage or engagement, of course she's going to say, you know what, let me just find me somebody in jail, or let me find somebody outside the race, be it a white man or be it an Asian man, because I'm not getting what I want or what I feel I'm deserved by this black man. Black men are in prison. Some of them are in prison that are innocent. It's just the reckless abandonment of the way the government has abandoned black men and women. So they have to find a place for them. So what do? They put black men in jail just for jaywalking.
Yeah, but the point, I guess, what the ladies are saying, the reason why there's not men availability is because a lot of them's in jail. Would you agree with that point?
I disagree with that. There are a lot of available men out that women just don't like. Look at that woman that's complaining about a man and then follow her and see what type of man she actually really wants to be with or get with.
Well,
I guarantee that dude is dusty, raggedy, and then they try to put him in the circle with all the other good men that's out here walking and moving around. It's hard to find a good woman, just like it's hard to find a good man.
okay, so what about also the sister says the rising black man gay factor, which is steadily on the rise, and we see that right before our eyes. So what do you think about that? That cuts the pool down far as...
Not necessarily.
I think it does tremendously, but that's just me.
There's a lot of good black men out there. I'm not with the homosexuality. I'm not with the gay situation. I think it's wrong for women to be on women and men to be on men when we already have a shortage. That's one. And then spiritually, it's not condoned scripturally by the Bible, by the creator that created you. So I'm against that. And I don't care who don't like it. And if you ever been around somebody that's homosexual, they overly act. Like the men overly act like women, and the women overly act like men,
guys.
sagging with boxer shorts on,
Right.
with plastic hanging out or whatever. I mean, it looks a mess. It's just a mess.
I agree.
It's a big, like your grandmother would say, that's a big mess.
That's a big old mess.
Don't
over
come
there.
in here with my grandmother.
Oh, honey, that's a mess. You can't do that in my house.
So my grandmother be like, don't bring that through my front door. You'd be like, that is, take that around back. Take that around. I got my neighbors out here. Take that around the back way.
Okay, so we gave the sisters a lot of time, so let's talk about what the brothers said. Shari, I'm going to go to you first.
Okay.
For what?
Well, you know, ladies first, man. We gentlemen on this show.
Speak for
Okay,
yourself.
so Shari, Miss Cohen, the black men, 11 out of the 13. And I would say this is pretty consistent because pretty much everybody I know kind of say this, but I want to hear your point of view. Black women, bad attitudes, but talk too much. Always trying to compete with the man and wear the pants. Not supportive. Unfair justice system. You get a divorce, they take the car from the man, they take the house, they take the business, they take... Shari, is any of that would you agree with?
I don't put it on just being the black female with the bad attitude and all the stuff that they saying, any race.
I know, but it's just black people we're talking
Right. But I just don't agree with that. And I don't agree with, because once they divorce or break up, the black woman is trying to take everything from the man. You can use Mary J. and
Yeah,
see what
that's just
happened.
a rare-
That was
that's
a man.
rare.
That was a man that did that. Whether it was rare or not, that's what happened, and it happened here today. And that was with black people. And what did she think? She found somebody that was a spiritual man and that helped her out in the whole thing. And in the back of his mind, this is what he had planned. Did he love her? He couldn't have loved her because he would have let her go on. He knows she had majority and all of that stuff before he came into her life. And you felt that you was entitled to it. So that makes a black female have attitude.
Okay, well, Sherry, you have to agree that this, when a divorce, especially in California, it mostly goes the woman's way. That's, this number's all the way to support that. I know multiple people, they say
A
that
lot of
about.
things goes
I'm
the
just saying on the
woman's way.
even, it's not even-handed. It's not to where, like, let's say if you guys just get married, y'all get divorced, they taking everything he got. That's just the way it is.
That's
I mean,
not
They
just
ain't
with the-
taking nothing I got because I
well, I'm talking
nothing.
hypothetically.
Right.
Hypothetically.
ain't
Well, Sherry, I
got
didn't
that.
mean to cut you off, but that's just my. Go ahead. I'm sorry. You finish
No,
your
but
point.
I don't think, are you saying they said that's the reason that
These are what black
there's
men are saying
no-
about the women that,
that
they
they
don't
had-
they don't like, and that's why they won't get
because
married.
they have attitude and they talk back and all. I want to speak my opinion just like you speaking it. Gerald spoke and he said, the man should take control and he should, run the relationship or the marriage and so forth. I agree, but I disagree. If you, like I said, if you are not being responsible and you are the man, why should I give you the energy and respect and let you try to run over everything when you lazy sitting on my couch and have me getting up, going to work and paying all the bills? And you want me to be happy with you? No, I can't do that. I have an attitude with it.
Your
Sure,
couch.
sure, they don't sound competitive to you. Don't
I think-
don't women supposed to be humble
We're supposed to
and they
be
supposed
equal.
to be a gift?
Equally yoked.
We're supposed to be
Equally
equal.
yoked.
But here today, majority of the black men want the woman to do it and he take charge. I disagree with that.
Okay. Now, G, I'm gonna pose a question to you. How much of this you say is valid or is not valid? Bad attitudes, talk too much,
All that's valid.
talking, trying to compete with them, non-supportive slavery, unfair justice system.
Let me just say this about the black woman, because I've dated all kind of women, but let me say this about black women and dealing with black
Go
women.
ahead on, Mr. International.
Yeah, say man,
We
don't,
will.
yeah, don't,
Yeah.
don't hate on me. But anyway, let me just say this. Let me say this. I've dated celebrity women. I've dated models. Anyway, this is not about me. This is not even my show. Let me just say this. Everything that you said about black women, the attitudes of this and that, that's true. One thing I realize about women in general, and don't necessarily have to be black women, when it's good, it's good. They there for that ride. Everybody wants that ride. Okay, jump in, boom. When it's a Cadillac truck, the brand new year, whatever, with the rims and spinning and everything, we want that ride. But if that happen to turn tomorrow into a Pinto or something less than, now they ready to get out. Now here comes the attitude. Because always remember this, how you start is how you finish. So I'll agree with the black women when they say, well, the black man, they need to maintain some type of foundation of security to make the woman feel comfortable, because you're supposed to protect if you're a king, you're supposed to protect your queen. But look at it like this. As a woman, if that black man falls short of that mark of doing his job, then that's when you step up. You do have strong black women that are in vital positions. Right. Now, when a black woman, just like the woman that's appointed to the Supreme Court, I think
Jackson, it has to
Ketanji, whatever. She's
Jackson.
married to a Caucasian man. Kamala Harris is married to a Caucasian man, right? But Kamala Harris have a past where she dated and dibble and dabble with a lot of black men. Like she dated
Willie Brown,
Montel Williams, and so on and so forth. A lot of black men, right? Went to a HBCU, Howard University. Now, She got all those votes because people didn't know that her husband was white. That's one. Two, it's like when a black woman gets on status, she wants to get away from the black man. She wants to go and date outside her race. Look at Serena Williams. They grew up all in Compton, but yet they dating white men who moved into their homes. See, it's all right for you to be a raggedy white boy and these black women date you. They don't have no complaints. Obama let his daughter boyfriend, who was white, move in. But if there was a black guy coming up, he would have been like, oh no, he's not the one we have chosen for you. But see, let me just say this. We've always had the weight of the world on our back as black men. We've always been able to turn sand into straw, turn lemons to lemonade. We've always been able to make it and manage. If you don't want us, then don't be with us, because we're going to be all right, regardless, with or without you. But you was created for me, I was created for you, so we can either try to work this thing out or not. It's no middle with me. I'm not getting ready to be out here and be challenged by a woman because she thinks she has more than me, because the superiority is not with the woman, it's with the man. The Creator looks at the man as being the head. I don't care how much the woman make. He's going to hold that man responsible. He's not holding the woman responsible. You could get married today, and Calvin, you could be a billionaire like Jeff Bezos and all of them. But once they get a divorce, look how much money the wife gets. And she didn't bring nothing into the relationship. Look at Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is a billionaire. But how much of that money he had to give to his wife? What did she bring to the table, right? So he had to give her pretty much almost the majority, not the majority, but a nice lump sum. He had to give her a chunk of that change, something that he got out there, blood, sweat, and tears, and made and created his brand. But now I got to give it to this woman that may or may not like me or love me anymore so that she can go have a good life. Because women, with or without kids, they can go and petition to the court and say, I'm used to this certain lifestyle, Your Honor. And he say, okay, well, we got to keep that lifestyle going. It has nothing to do with the fact that this is a black man struggling to get to a certain point, because the government want to see the black man without it anyway. And what does he use? The black woman to take it away from him. I'm not saying OJ committed the murders. I'm saying I understand.
I got you. Well, we run out of time, so let me throw in my 2 cents on both of these. First of all, I want to deal with what the black women said about the black men. Black men, a lot of black men don't take responsibility. That would seem true. Not in all cases, but according to what I've seen in my life, sisters, stuff, I've seen it. That's not across the board, but it is a point to be made there. Don't make enough money, got a problem with that. If you're together, you're together. If I got $1, you got $1, we got $2 together. We can get there faster. So if you're going to status me out because of money, we don't need to be together. That's my take.
I agree with that, and I like that. I like the way you put that together, that analogy.
Well, thank you, man. I told you, I practice my answers. You don't admit it. He don't admit it. He practices. I practice. Black men want to date multiple women. I have to say that's true. I've seen that.
Oh, this dude,
and I'm not gonna put.
This dude's a real sellout,
I'm not gonna
man.
put nobody on blast. But I know brothers that I loved, and they married to this day. They got chick number 1 on the side, chick number 2, chick number 3. But here's the thing: the black woman also got somebody on the side too. Not as much as the black men, but they done fell into that too. So I have to go with that. The other point that black women made, black men in prison, that cut down the pool, I have to agree with that. That does make a difference. It puts a dent in it, not significantly, like G said, but it does make a difference. The gay factor is the big thing. A lot of black men is turning gay. A lot of them is promoted. I don't know if you guys seen the BET Awards. Any commercial, any TV you see, promotion. So I'll go with that. Now, the men's side. Black men said black women have bad attitudes. Lord have mercy, have I seen that in my life?
Well, go ahead on and
Lord
date
have
your
mercy, have I seen that in my life?
Right
Sherry,
here,
I ain't talking about you. I'm just talking about, hey, sister, how you doing?
She's sniffing.
Like
That's
that.
when they get to sniffing.
And this is probably 80%
Right.
of the time.
And I agree with you.
Okay, so talk too much, gonna get in trouble with this one, but I have to say that's kind of true.
Now I'm trying to figure out when she gonna shut up. Boy, she
I'm
talks
gonna
a
let
lot.
Sherry give her a rebuttal. I ain't gonna just,
We should be vocal and can speak our mind. And
I know Sherry.
Give
but
permission.
But Sherry's what I'm talking
See,
about.
that's the attitude he was talking
Yeah,
about.
look at that. Look at
That's
them
what
jaws
you're
tight.
talking
Look how
about.
tight them jaws is.
Yeah, right.
Sherry, what I'm talking about.
let me speak. You
Sherry, what I'm
still
talking
talking.
about is you should. You have to make a valid point. You should make your point. But I'm talking about the combativeness to where I see black men, I've done it. You can't even finish your sentence. And they interrupting you and this and that. No, it ain't this, it ain't that. So it's that friction, that combativeness. I've seen that, so I just say that's true. Let's see. Always trying to compete with them. That's what we just got finished talking about with this money stuff. Women make more money, got a better job. I'm going to wear the pants. You're not a man no more because you don't make as much money as I make.
I don't agree with that part, because if the guy don't make as much money, but he should have some type of money. That's what I'm saying.
Sherry,
that's when the girls get an attitude.
Sherry, I disagree with that. If you love somebody, if you really love somebody, you're going to build them up. You're going to build them up. Man, woman, build them up.
You put it in a nice
Build
way.
them up.
I said don't have the man can't try to wear the pants, and you can't build him
Well,
up if he's being lazy, just sitting there not doing anything,
Well, Sherry, I'm
expecting
going to
you
talk
to
about
do
that
all
in a
that.
second. Well, yeah, but I'm going to talk about that in a second. But we're going to come back to that, but I just want to get this out. Not supportive. That's a big one. That's kind of what we were just talking about. The women, this is black men saying this.
Yeah.
The women are not supportive. I've seen that. Okay. I've seen it. Family, friends, public, I've seen that. Not supportive. The woman's like, I'm big, bad, I don't need you. And the man, so anyway, that's a whole nother thing. Unfair court system. Lord knows I've seen that. I've gone to court where I've seen brothers crying, 6'5", 240, just tears just falling down the aisle. So I've seen that. Now, Sherry, here's another thing, you and G, I want to share this with you guys. There's a natural order on the planet Earth. The natural order is, you guys tell me if you agree with this, God, creator, number one. You can actually throw Jesus in there as well. Number two on the planet Earth, man. Number three, woman. Number four, the animals, the plants, and the insects, and all. It's a natural order the way things are. I'm not saying, this is not my opinion, this is already fact. We all know this. So when things are not out of order, when the woman thinks she knows more than the man not respecting the woman, things are out of order, and this is how you get 35 million single black people, in my opinion. So I'm going to give you guys the last word on this. Sherry, I'm going to go to you. Whatever you want to say it.
I agree and disagree with some of the things that were said by the percentages. I don't agree that there's not marriages because the shortage of men being locked up or because there's so many gay people. It is a lot of men that's locked up, but I don't think that's one of the factors. Okay. It's just you be in a relationship, you be in a friendship, you be in a relationship, and if it's not moving forward, why would you just go ahead and sign papers and be together if you guys couldn't get it together just being in a relationship? And so people don't want to be stuck in a marriage. It's easy to get into a marriage than to get out of it. Both of you guys came into a relationship with what you had. You tried to build it. And if it did not grow, then why take it any further? Because you're not going to get anywhere. So that's why I think that people just stop from there and they don't get married. So the attitudes and how females treat guys and vice versa, I think all of that is true, that what they did say by the percentage. I just don't agree with the lockup and the gays. I don't.
Got you. G, before you say something, I want to share something with you and Sherry. You know what nobody mentioned in this, we didn't talk about, and they didn't talk about? Love.
Right.
What happened to the love factor?
Right.
I love this man. I love this woman. I want to spend my life with you. I want to spend my life with you. Or if you look at divorce rates, 2.5 years of my life, because that's what the divorce rate in the United States. Y'all see, I'm a numbers person. Nobody talks about love.
Because the love is no
affection.
longer. It's no longer a part of the relationship.
I'm gonna hug you. I'm gonna kiss you.
That's
I'm
not
glad
there.
to see you.
It's not there anymore.
Nobody's talking about that.
That's been phased out due to he don't have that. She don't look like this. He's not giving me that. I hate him because of this. So all that takes precedence over the love and the affection and companionship or the compassion that you can have for one another. It's all been watered down, and the man has to dummy himself down to deal with a woman and her attitude, and the woman dummies herself down to deal with a man's infidelity or his lack of support. So the love is not even in relationships no more. When you talk to people, they go straight to...
Gee, that's a shame, right?
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Yeah.
Sherry, is that a shame?
Yes. It
Y'all,
can
that's a
be
shame. We sitting up here talking about ain't no
Yeah.
love and no black families and no
It
more.
is love there, but
35
that
million
love is
people. I
not
don't
gonna
think
get
so.
me walking down.
See?
Nah.
So
it ain't no love there.
Yes.
So
She's
Sherry,
contradicting. She's
No,
talking
I'm
about
not.
love.
I
So
said
Sherry
it's
and
love
G-
there, but not enough to,
all right. So
nah.
Sherry and G, let me
Okay.
ask you a very important question. Is money and status associated with love? Should that be a prerequisite to it?
Nope.
I just can't love you
Nope.
for who you are. So I got to have a little bit of money, a little bit of status, then you can love me,
No, the money
or I can
shouldn't.
love you.
No, it should.
Because that's what this service, not so what you guys saying, but what this shows me, and like I said, these are intelligent people. These ain't no dummies. I asked these things to. There was no mention of love.
Well, I never said, speaking on how the way that I felt, that money just had something to do with it. I said it has to be responsibility that the man has to,
Doesn't
the ones that I didn't
responsibility
say,
equal to
I didn't
money?
say 100% responsibility. That's just like if she went to work. He could have always been the provider, and then maybe something happened to him. But
Yeah.
if he was at home cooking, cleaning, and taking, doing the responsible thing, I said responsible. She shouldn't have to come home and now do all these other things.
But what if he just staying home playing Xbox all day, but he loved the heck out of her?
That's not being responsible.
Come on, Sarah.
Now
give me
I
some.
gotta,
Give me
I
a
gotta
little bit.
come home and vacuum while you put your feet up
Yeah.
and then put them back down when I
Yeah.
no.
Hey, baby,
no.
before you come back, make sure you bring me
Now
back
I
a
gotta
six
go
pack and some
cook.
chicken.
I got to serve you food. No,
Well, the women did
I'm
this
not
for
saying
years.
I think we
100%
living in the
is-
wrong time era. I mean, I kind of like the era that Solomon lived in with 700 wives and 700 concubines.
well, you
Hey,
going
come
back.
on, I can't. It's too far for me to get it found. I can't get it to him. Give me Sherry. Bing. Give me some.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Well,
that
we
cuts
living
down
here
on
today.
all that arguing and stuff.
Okay. Well,
I'm sure he didn't have no argument or
That's
nothing.
over
in
with.
this
That's
house.
over and done.
So Sherry G, before we close this out, how do we fix it? How do we fix it?
Love.
Okay,
You just
so
said
wait.
it. Love.
Yeah,
Love has to be the root of understanding, arrangement, agreement. That has to be what you sign on the dotted line.
Love.
That's it.
What
Love.
about when
I
you?
don't agree with you
Because
all
love
the
falls,
time,
love.
but now I'm agree with you.
I don't want
But
you
what-
to agree.
but
No,
what about-
that's no.
Oh, I know it's time to get on. I know it's time for the show to end
I
now.
start breaking out in high neck, man. I'm scratching
I'm
it.
kind of itching myself.
Yeah, hold
Hey.
on. You agree with me? Oh,
I agree with you.
But you guys, what
oh,
about
shoot.
Sherry G? Remember you guys were kids and you liked somebody at school.
You write
and
on the paper.
You write
Do
on the
you
paper.
like me? Yes or no?
You iron your clothes.
That's
Make sure you
done.
got the extra crease. You put on. You get your hair fixed.
Right.
And you got that look. You see that person, your heart go boom, boom.
Right.
We don't have that no more, huh? We don't have that for each other.
Yes, we do.
Sherry,
No, we
where? Now, Sherry, you just talked for an hour about how men ain't what they ain't got.
But
So you
there
telling
is
me we
some.
got that?
There is some. That's what, and I said there is some love there, but not enough for
Yeah,
me to be signing no paper.
4.7 million people out of 41 million. Yeah, I got you. What about you, G? How can we fix it?
He said.
I said love. Basically, you have to start somewhere. You have to start with love because if I'm a millionaire today and all that, I lose that tomorrow, you mean to tell me you was along for what I had, not for who I am, not for the feelings I have for you? So you wasn't there for love. You was there for the financial compensation or the stability you thought I could give you. So now you're ready to go. So the love has to take place first. before any other thing could take place. It says, Jehovah God loved the world so much that he gave his only begotten son. The key word to take away from there is what? Love.
I'll take it a step further than that. Ladies and gentlemen, can I get a close-up here? Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you need to do. You need to have love, like my brother just said. Black people, we need to do two things. We need to take some therapy, for one. But if you can't do that, we need to find some classes that talks about trust and love.
That's it.
We don't have that. We do not have that. We've gotten caught in this capitalistic system to where everything's generated around money and power and status and socioeconomics and stuff. But we forgot the basic fundamentals of what brought us to this, what made us survive in this country is love and trust. Mm-hmm. That's what we got to do. You guys, closing thoughts, anybody?
Love yourself. Love those that are around you that allow you to have an understanding that we have to establish love before anything else. And thank you for having me on your show, Calvin. This is your first show. Thank you, and I'll be here anytime you need me.
I appreciate that.
Got to give a shout out to LaRon, even though we went over.
Great job, LaRon, my brother.
Yeah. Good job, LaRon. He ain't like Poetess. Fire her.
Stop it.
Yeah, we need to
Poetess
fire
gonna beat you up.
Poetess. But
Poetess
anyway.
gonna beat you up.
Yeah, we got love. Thank you, LaRon. Appreciate LaRon. And I'm G. Check out my show. Say it loud. Shout out to Mr. Capers, Jonathan Capers, who was on my show. We're gonna be doing a lot of work on him, a jazz guy, and that's my.
We helping him with his documentary.
Yes, that's my piece.
Okay, Sherry, you got anything?
I want to thank you for letting me be on the show. I didn't expect this.
We had to pull her. We was pulling.
God.
I said, Sherry, I need you on the show.
I
need you on the show.
But I see why, it would have been
what?
one-sided with.
And she put in more than the 2 cents. Okay?
Terrible guess.
Sherry, man, she put all the meat to
Thank you,
this.
Calvin.
No, Sherry, I want to thank you. Now, guys, we didn't talk about the gangbanger laws. We're going to talk about that next time.
Okay.
Because there's some laws coming down the pike, you guys, to where they're going to start coming at the gang members. And it's going to start in Chicago. But we'll talk about that next time. So for my esteemed guests, Mr. Gerald G. Bennett, Miss Shari Cohen, check them out. Morris Media Studios, Say It Loud. I'm often a guest on that show. Also, I want you guys to check me out, Black Solutions. I have an audio version. I have 45 episodes. It can be seen and heard on iTunes, SoundCloud, Amazon, Spotify, Listen Notes. I want to thank my man LaRon again. Shout out to Poetess. You guys, we are out. Take care of yourself and take care of each other. And thank you for joining us for this very powerful discussion this evening. Good night.
People, what you doing? I want to know. On the back, you can go.